I've got to slot the fretboard. Now a lot of the hard work, the heavy lifting, has already been done because I have a template for position of the frets, and a video of which is up there, and that works in conjunction with the mitre block video for which is also up there. So that should give me the accuracy, and the frets aren't going to cut themselves, but I'm hoping this should be fairly straightforward. The only thing we've got to make sure in terms of accuracy is that we work to the centre line. So we've got to get the centre line of the fretboard lined up with a line that doesn't have to be in the centre of the template, but at least has to be parallel to the edge, so that I've got the angles of the frets correct. We can't work to the edge of the fretboard because the edges of the fretboard aren't parallel. So let's get that done, get the fretboard glued on, and then the frets will magically cut themselves. Maybe. Let's do it. First thing is to get the centre line put back on the fretboard. I'm using a pencil. Hopefully it should be visible. And let's just transfer that onto the edge. Oh dear, it's wax. Just make sure that's the right, yep. Burnish that down. And the fretboard is going to be stuck on at what at first sight appears to be an angle, but of course we've got the centre line of the fretboard parallel with the template, and I'm just going to mark where we need that. Is that right? Yeah. So I'm just going to transfer this mark. So this isn't the centre of the template, but the centre line of the fretboard is going to be along here. But the important thing is that this is going to have to be parallel with this edge, the reference edge. So the fretboard will be stuck down like so. Before we get cutting, a quick check. This is the nut end. the frets are a bigger distance apart, and this is the fret end where the 20th fret is, and the frets are close together. This may seem like the most obvious thing to point out, but I have heard of people cutting the slots in a fretboard and getting the fretboard the wrong way round. I don't know whether anybody's ever got the fretboard upside down and they've cut the frets in the wrong side of the fretboard, but the curved part of the fretboard is upwards. But I just say this, it's just worth double checking everything. Don't want any mistakes to be made, but we are now ready to go. Here's my mitre block, and the bearings are snug fit, so there's no play other than perhaps a small amount of flex in the blade. But the most crucial component of all this is this little pin here, because that is where the template locks into, and as long as we keep this edge firmly against the edge of the mitre block, then we should have very accurate cutting, because there is no play. In fact, some of these are a little bit snug. There we go. There is no play in the fit between the pin and the mitre block. Sorry, the pin and the template. So we just need to clamp that down, make sure it doesn't move, and should be all fairly straightforward. The most tricky thing for me is giving you a good view of what's going on. A little bit of cork for grip, and then a block, and clamp it in place. And make sure it's fully against the edge. And hopefully that will hold tight. To the depth. Of course, this is the nut and this will get cut off, but just wanted to make sure that we're cutting this as if it was a fret slot, and then we can just make sure that everything's performing as we expect. Quite important to clean up all the dust each time, actually, because we don't want any dust getting underneath and lifting the fretboard, because that will mean we're going to end up cutting too deeply. Let's say that's perfect. Hopefully you can see that. Obviously the same there, perhaps a bit clearer. It's awkward working across the bench on this, but it's just easier with camera position and, well, as I get that completely out of place, there we go. there's no possibility of me breaking the fretboard at this point. Because A, I don't want to break the fretboard, and B, I don't want to bend the aluminium. I got there. That got quite tough at the end, actually. I don't know whether it was the increased width of the fretboard was just giving extra resistance. I don't know, but it was quite physical. That was quite a workout, but perfectly successful. One nicely slotted and accurate fretboard. So very pleased. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next. Yeah, I really don't. So just make sure you're subscribed, click like, share the video, comment, you always do. Thank you. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.